Okay, welcome, folks. Uh, this is a special political talk with Liberians made of preliminary results from the Elections Commission. A lot of Liberians see if you are passing by the roadside, you notice Liberians were actually listening very attentively to the National Elections Commission proclamation of results. So this is how we try to issue this even to keep you informed relative to the emerging development based on the latest development from the National Elections Commission. We have been told that the I announced the results then they are actually announced the results. So I will first shortly Mohammed Vani Khan and together we will drive you through this major legendary update on Football Line TV. This kid Lyndon Toba. It's such a pleasure to be here. To discuss special political talks with Nigerians and made preliminary results for the National Elections Commission. So for those of you who are watching, please share our live video. Please share our live video. Please share our live video. Please share. Please share our live video. 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 So, as I said earlier, I'll be subsequently joined by my colleague Connie Kane, and together we will drive this program special political ideas and made preliminary result from the National Elections Commission. So, while we are waiting for my colleague to come so that we can be able to discuss together uh, the rising developments from the National Elections Commission and other statements over the period of time. Let us try to preview these statements coming from ranking members of either the ruling establishment and of the ruling establishment and that of the opposition unity party, because these are two parties who are claiming that us, the coalitions of Democrats, is claiming that they have also won the elections, but they urge their supporters to remain kind. While the UPI also claiming that they have won the elections, but they are at the same time uh, express that their supporters should remain happy, but they should not display the happiness. They should not display the happiness until the official announcement will be made by the others body that is called responsibility to announce elections results. So let me try to go through uh, Robert Barrett, and he made a statement. Yeah, he made a statement.
When on the question about when you let me say this, people trying to track the question. So what trying to rock their they say that this is the matter, right? The number and that in your favor. Your love is in it. All right? We will not permit you to sacrifice or subvert the will of people. Madam Director Brown, can you call the number that we call? What we call it, what the massage number, massage what we go, massage is up to call. At the end of the day, you call them. All right? So, constitutional obligation to ensure that the number that call incorporated within the number. The next all right? So, what we got, what we said is the current election. The amount of represent what we said is incredible representing the word of the word. No one can change it. No one can change it. Let me say, people passing around, all these persecute, all these scare tactics and panic, psychology, kind of club, you bring it from this way, and bring them up to that. You cannot, yeah, you cannot stop God. All right? God will fear not, who can get, who can stop us. All right? We don't intend to put the country back in and violent more. We want to ensure that the peace is protected. We be committed to protect the peace. Just like my brother have been very committed to protect the peace. 27, who want the lunch? We're not pleased about the result. All right? There were over women in the life and fall. But for the sake of the peace, we consider. For this election, it is very clear. All right? The people vote only Coca-Cola. All right? The people voted for Donald Trump. I mean, decisively, unapologetic. The numbers are there. We have the numbers. We expect the numbers to begin pouring in today and tomorrow. Again, we don't have to have the for the number. What they want to do is for today, and we're going to run it down on that. We're going to say the number to be called. We say to our people, relax. You've done your job. All right? It's our time to do our job. So you show that your votes are protected. And we will do that. That's what start from doing that. We are ready. All right? We'll get that center. I mean, in fact, I kind of communication. Human people. and the refugee capital. And now it's becoming a one
Okay, you just listened to a ranking member of the opposition unity party and his alliance, Robert Barrett, uh, giving out his statement. We had quite recently with the media pertaining to the elections results, and to overheard him expressing optimism that the Unity Party has actually won based on the kind of documentations they have in their possessions. So there have been a series of statements since the proclamations of the results. You overheard him making a projection, the projections, where he said Unity Party is expected to win by 50 to 54 percent, 50 to 54%, 50 to 54%. And what does the law say in Liberia? What does the law say? What does the election law say? It says for anybody who is contesting for the presidency to win, he or she must acquire, he or she must obtain, he or she must have 50 plus one vote. 50 plus one vote. 50 plus one vote. So his projection, I cannot wholeheartedly rely on his projection. I cannot reliably rely on his projections because I have not seen the tally sheets that will make me to believe. But I want to believe that the National Elections Commission and all her able lieutenants will not want to do anything that is totally different from the tally sheets that were released by net workers who work on the 10th of October. So currently, a lot of Liberians are actually listening to the result being delivered or pronounced by the National Elections Commission. So as per the Constitution, right after the conclusion of uh, the polling, the polls on October 10th, uh, the, the 11th, they had a press conference. That was the one of the press conference they had. Uh, they want announcement of all of the results, almost all of the results from various polling places, not all of the results, but from various polling places, representing a particular percentage for the number of people who turn out to actually exercise their constitutional right. So there have been statements here and there. There have been statements here and there, statement made by people within the ruling establishment, statement made by the opposition unity party, and interestingly, there's another statement that has come out quite recently from the the CPP. They are suspected in the statement that I watched a few hours ago. They are actually suspected that there was a foul play in the elections. there was a foul play in the elections. So the person who spoke on behalf of the CPP has never given us a clear picture as to where or what could be the next course of actions. But I can tell you for sure, pertaining to what they have earlier said in the press statement, they would definitely engage the Supreme Court. They would definitely engage the Supreme Court. They are suspecting that there was a foul play in the elections. There was a foul play on the day Liberians went out to cast their votes. They are suspecting that there was a foul play. So, as I said earlier on, my colleague will soon be joining him, uh, Ambassador Mohammed Van Kanen, so that we can be able to discuss some of the issues that pertain to the emerging developments in Liberia relative to the October 10 coup. So, but why we make efforts to get other statements, why we make efforts to get other statements from other people who are actually who have already made statements relative to this same process. You just listened to Robert Party, the ranking member of the opposition Unity Party and A Alliance. You just listened to him, and you just listened to Nathan Bly. I will bring you a statement from Nathan Bly. I will also bring you a statement from Nathan Bly. And I will bring you multiple statements until my colleague and candidate we can begin discussing the issues. So you can start injecting your comments, and we will definitely read your comments out loud to you. So currently, the commissioners at NEC are actually doing their job, and this is the people we should be listening to. These are these are the people we should be listening to instead of all listening to uh, politicians. If there is a need for you to start celebrating, I think you're supposed to be celebrating based upon the results, uh, the official result, not the preliminary result, because when something is preliminary, there is a clear possibility that it can change over the period of time. It can also change over the period of time. So until we actually reach the stage where the official results are being announced by the National Elections Commission that is clothed with the responsibility to actually announce results before we can move ahead. We can start celebrating. You can start the kind of exuberance I have witnessed since the conclusions of uh, the voting process on the 10th of October. So let us make some efforts to get these statements from getting statements. Here is another statement here from Josephine David, representative candidate. So you just listen to Representative candidate Josephine Davy, responding to our incumbent representative who's also seeking re-elections, uh, Yeket Y. Columbine. Yeket Y. Columbine. The problem about this thing is that uh, Liberia, many Liberians are actually panicking. There's a growing tendency of panic across the country. If you even take a look at the streets, you will observe that a tricyclist, commercial tricyclist, uh, motorcyclists, and lots of people are expressing their view relative to the kind of way things are actually proceeding since the conclusions of the voting exercise in Liberia. Uh, this is not good for our country, Liberia. This is not just good for our country, Liberia. Well, the panic over the last few days since the conclusions of the voting exercise, which was done on the 10th of October, it's not just good for our country because I think that we should be patient. We as politicians, people who contested in these elections should be patient and allow the National Elections Commission to do what is necessary rather than taking the mantle of authority into their own hands. I think this is about time that the national security, the joint security, and as well as the armed forces of Liberia needs to be fully on their alert. And I also want to utilize this occasion to caution the National Elections Commission and the most senior commissioner there, Madam Derry Etta Brown Lassanan, who was appointed by the President, His Excellency Dr. George Weah, to do the right thing. The Liberian people have spoken. The Liberian people have actually spoken, and I think their voices need to be heard. They manifested their actions by casting their vote. So I think you need to be proceeding on the right train. But at the same time, we need to caution our Liberian people. We need to caution politicians that they should be patient. They should exert more patience and tolerance and allow the folks at the National Elections Commission to actually do their job. The tally sheets you have in your possessions are backup evidence. The tally sheets you have in your possessions are backup evidence. This is the beauty of democracy, for God's sake. This is the beauty of democracy. You understand? When you feel cheated in the process, after you have gone through the process, but if you feel cheated, you have the right to go to what? Court. You have the right to go to court. You have the right to go to court. And that's the beauty of democracy, rather than you try to incite people to undermine the peace and stability of our country. I don't think we will tolerate that. I don't think we'll allow that to happen. And for those of our colleagues in the media who are using their platforms to incite violence, those of our friends in the media who are using their platform to incite violence, I don't think this is very good for our democracy. I think the media are supposed to be very instrumental in safeguarding our democracy. I think the media are supposed to be very, very important, considering the fact that Liberia is out of rule. I think we need to be calling for peace and not to be inflating the situation. But over the last few days, there are some notable red media outlets in the country who have gone otherwise. who actions or behavior are tantamount to undermining the peace and stability of Liberia. You know yourself. I am not going to point fingers. I am not going to point fingers. But I want to believe that what you are doing is not just called for our society. What you are doing is not just called for our society. It's not just called for Mama Liberia. If you consider yourself as a patriotic Liberian, I don't think you want to use your profession to inflame the situations. Liberians have suffered a lot. Liberians have suffered a lot. I don't want to believe that Liberians want to go back to the dark days. The future, the progress of Liberia rests well within our hands. You understand? The future of Liberia rests well within our hands. Please, Liberians, let us be mindful with the way we take things. There are lots of people who are monitoring. There are lots of people who are monitoring this process. But the statements coming from various executive members from the Unity Party and that of the ruling establishment, it is not just called for our political space. It is not just called for the peace and stability of Liberia. You understand? So wait, let me just bring this statement from. Let me just bring this statement. This is a statement from statement coming. Hold on.
Gave you a specific date. What date we gave you is that by law, we this is our
Okay, folks. So this just listen to Jefferson Koji. Just listen to Jefferson Koji, uh, Secretary General of the Ruling Coalitions of Democratic Change. Okay, sorry, folks. We want to sincerely apologize for the interruption in our broadcast. It was due to a severe power outage. That said situation has been resolved, and we are back again. So we are actually back again. So we want to register our apologies to those of you who were actually following the show and we experienced that kind of interruption. This is something that is now known. So we live in Liberia now. We live in Liberia. We live in Liberia. So these are, especially in Liberia, these are common situations that happen to most of the media institutions in Liberia. So it is not intentional. It wasn't intentional. So we want to register our apology. So as I was saying, we are going to Liberia is at a crossroad now. Liberia is actually at a crossroad. Many times when you hear politicians or when you hear activists and journalists say Liberia is actually a crossroad, this is the definition. This is the more practical definition of what the mean by Liberia is at a crossroad. So those investors that have their investments into this country every day, you're actually praying for the way, you're actually praying for the good, you're actually praying for the best. They are actually praying for the good. And I am also praying for the good of Mama Liberia because I don't want to see my country go back to the dark days where people will be manhandling people because they have or they are in possessions of weapon, and just in case you cannot take instruction from them, they will want to manhandle you. They will want to manhandle you on the fact that you are refusing to abide by instructions. I witness I witness how our mothers, our sisters, our aunties were being abused uh, due to the war that was fought in Liberia. I don't think a lot of Liberians, when they hear about this kind of thing, a lot of Liberians are very panicked. Let me be very frank to you. Liberians out there are panicking over the situations that is unfolding in Liberia. Every day, Liberians are actually panicking. You understand? Why are they panicking? Sometimes do we ask ourselves, for those of you who are the politicians, do you ask yourself why Liberians are panicking? It is because the kind of statements some of you are making. It is because the way things are actually proceeding since the conclusions of the voting process, which was done on October 10th. That is why Liberians are actually panicking. Like I was going to respond to some personal errand this morning. I rode on a motorbike, and the motorcyclist looked in my face and said to me, "Bro, we the way things used to be, a lot of people are afraid. The traffic is no longer proceeding the way it used to be because everybody want to take the necessary precaution as possible. Everyone is willing to take the necessary step as possible, and this is the kind of thing. Parents are advising their children to stay away from the road. The international community is just observing the trend of events in our country. For God's sake, Liberia, man. We got our independence in 1847. You understand? I think we should be mature by now. We should actually be mature. We witnessed the election in Nigeria. Even before Liberia had her election, There were other countries that had their elections. And those results that came out after Nigerians exercised their constitutional right, whatever the National Elections Commission said, it was actually obeyed. It was actually obeyed. Am I saying this to tell the National Elections Commission to give up a result that will not, that does not reflect the will and aspirations of the Liberian people after they have casted their ballot on October 10th? No. I believe that the National Elections Commissions will actually do the right thing. I believe that the National Elections Commission will actually do the right thing. I overheard other people saying, why is it that the National Elections Commission is delaying? But it has to be through. It has to actually go through a gradual process. Even during the course of the 2017 elections, we all observed how the elections went. The elections result started from bits and pieces of provisional result before it culminated into the official result. And those commissioners at the National Elections Commission were very wise. They distributed the percentage in accordance with the way it should have been. You understand? So I sometimes when I hear people saying, why is it that the National Elections Commission is proceeding? They are very slow. This is something that borders on the peace and stability of our country, Nigeria. So you expect them to actually proceed with much caution. You expect them to be very careful on the way they do things. That is the former manual we saw. I can recall in 2017, after all of those percentages were distributed among all of those people who participated in the election, the National Elections Chairperson by then said, in compliance with the Constitution, in order for one to be declared as the victor of the election, he or she must acquire 50% plus one vote. So the two outstanding candidates, former Vice President Joseph Dimon Bwaka and now President George Weah, they were allowed to participate in a runoff. And after the conclusion of the runoff, that was when George Weah was declared winner of the elections, the 2017 elections, and he was inaugurated into office in January 22nd. He was inaugurated into office. So I want to believe that President George Manneh Weah, who is now the president and he is also seeking re-election, is fully cognizant of the fact that he got elected through a democratic process. In 2017, I can recall that the late Charles Walker Bronsky felt that the process was fraudulent. So he went to the Supreme Court He actually went to the Supreme Court. That is the beauty of democracy. Charles Walker Bronsky did not say we will put people on the street. Charles Walker Bronsky did not urge his partisans to assemble on the street. Charles Walker Bronsky being fully aware of the kind of tenets, the beauty of democracy. He channeled his grievances through the court of competent jurisdiction. And whatever the court said, Charles Walker Bronsky accepted the decision, the ruling for the court. But relative to the trends of activities in the country now, there are lots of things that are happening, especially when you have statements coming from party A, party B. These are not just good for our society. These are not just good for our society. It undermines the status of our democracy. It undermines the status of our democracy. I am very, very much disappointed. Why don't we want to allow the National Elections Commission to do their job? So I would love to take a short break. When we resume, then we begin discussing the issues that matter. This is the Focal Online TV. This is the most independent media outlet within District 13. We represent the image and pride of District 13. So this is the program of special political talk with Liberians and made preliminary results for the National Elections Commission. Yeah, let's just take a short break.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Grefina Nkorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing. Hello guys, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm your humble presenter of the program The Focal Point. As the demand for critical analysis and reliable information continues to be the appetite of the Liberian population, it is incumbent upon media practitioners to always be objective, independent, and fact-based in their reportorial duties. The clarion call for credible, reliable, and issue-based presentation must be considered at all times. In the wake of these functions and duty to service, it is only one show that stands tall among the rest. Focal Point, a program where we scrutinize, examine, and cross-examine by allowing the audience participate by posting and calling and commenting on the subject under discussion. We bring the guests in studio, we quiz them, and analyze the issue. Once again, this is your regular Monday friend, K. Lyndon Togba. Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Togba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Togba. My name is Greg Courage. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our...
Welcome back, folks, to all of our viewers. Keep sharing the live podcast, share the live podcast. This is the program Special Political Talks with Liberians and made preliminary results from the National Elections Commission. My name is K. Lyndon Togba. We are trying. We want to bring few stakeholders. I have been trying to connect with my CEO Andy Brooklet-Jala. Like he seems to be very, very busy. So these are time, especially at this moment, stakeholders at this. Andy Brooklet-Jala has been one of the person who has been calling on Liberians to always remain peaceful, always remain patient, and so I have been trying to get to him, but it seems that he is very, very busy. He actually resides in in the United States of America. So whatever happens to Liberia, it happens to him as well, because he has so many family, relatives and friends in Liberia. So I wanted to bring him in. I wanted to get him on so let us listen to this statement from Emmanuel Gongwe, who happens to be the
US
Okay, folks, you just listened to another damaging statement from the chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighter, Emmanuel Gongwe, when he was having a conversation, a brief conversation with journalists when he went at the SKD Sport Complex in Pinsville. So what does this mean? Yesterday, Emmanuel Gongwe had a press conference and he expressed conviction that based upon the kind of results, based upon the kind of results they have, or based upon the kind of documents they have in their possessions, it means that Joe Bwaka, who is the political leader of the Unity Party in the alliance, has actually won the elections. Why will Emmanuel Gongwe? Why will Emmanuel Gongwe want to jump the gun and announce Joe Bwaka as the president of the country when the National Elections Commission, that should be clothed with the responsibility to announce results, has not done it? Then Emmanuel Gongwe is out there announcing Joe Bwaka. Even if at all Emmanuel Gongwe feel convinced based upon the kind of documentations they have in their possession, I think he's supposed to accord all due diligence to the National Elections Commission to do their job, and you listen to him, right? You actually listen to him. You listen to Emmanuel Gongwe saying that anything shut off. So for those of you who are asking why Liberians are actually panicking, there is a need for Liberians to actually panic. There is actually a need for Liberians to panic. There is actually a need for Liberians to panic. People are making all sorts of threatening statements. People are actually making all sorts of threatening statements. This is totally bad for our country. This is totally bad for our country, Liberia. I don't think we should be proceeding the way we are proceeding. One of the oldest countries in Africa, but we cannot handle our situations. Whenever there is an elections conducted in the country, people are afraid. People get intimidated. Is this the way we want to govern? Is this the kind of way we want to govern? And let us stick to this other statement from his bed.
Oh, we're not going to sleep. We are here prepared.
How are you protecting your post?
We are here. You can see my medicine.
Yeah, we are back again. You just listen to the we just listen to.
But for Arab folk, there's almost every actual folk. Anything that we are against, will be folk.
So, okay, folks, you just listen to the statements from two alliance members of the opposition unity party. You just listen to their statements, and all of those statements I in reflections of statements that tend to undermine the peace and stability of Liberia. Uh, if you listen very attentively, you realize that the recent statement made by Emmanuel Gongwe congratulating Ambassador Joseph Diman Bwaka ahead of NEC official results. To me, in my opinion, what it does is that it frames the situations in the country. Why would Emmanuel Gongwe go and congratulate somebody even though he has that person or that candidate he supports has not been officially announced by the National Elections Commission? In my opinion, I think it was a misstep on the part of Emmanuel Gongwe to have proceeded the way he proceeded. So he had a brief message, and yes, he had interaction with the media today. So every time when these things happen, Then the common man in the country, the common people who cannot afford, Liberians, they are actually wondering, but what is actually going on? I earlier said to you that I was on a motorbike when the motorcyclist told me the reason why people, he was just giving me his personal observation, why people are not coming, and why the streets are not are not crowded like the way it used to be. That was his own analysis he was providing. That was his own analysis, and I want to believe the analysis or his observation are actually an observation that need to be taken into keen consideration. Are you wondering why Liberians are not actually coming out? People are very careful with the way they do things now. I don't want to believe that if you even used to spend $20 on a daily basis, people are now even reducing that $20 to $10 because of the kind of statements emanating from people who we look up to provide direction. But I can tell them that the peace and tranquility of Liberia rests well within the hands of our politicians. The peace and stability of our country, Liberia, rests well within the hands of those of you who consider yourself to be leaders. You can be in the ruling establishment, then you respond to every bit and pieces of information. But I think, considering the fact that we are at a crossroad, at a very crucial stage, one of the persons that need to be respected, there are two persons that need to be respected in terms of what? In terms of all listening or wanting to listen to information from those people. I think the media and the National Elections Commission. Why the National Elections Commission make a decision? I want to believe that there should be a complete coordination between the National Elections Commission and that of the Joint Security. Why am I saying so? The essence of the such a coordination I'm talking about is intended to safeguard our democracy. It's intended to safeguard our democracy. You can have documentation that should be protected by the security. Then you have people going there overnight in a very clandestine move when they should not be there. I think the people need to be very sensitive. Those people at the National Elections Commission, those security agencies need to stop people from going there. They actually need to stop. People purporting to be militants of Party A, Party X should be disallowed to even enter said vicinity. They should be disallowed. No one who participated in a recent election should be even allowed to go to a place where NEC documents are being preserved. Absolutely nobody. We shouldn't even be entertaining emissary, because sometimes when there is a high restriction stopping people for entering into safe vicinity, sometimes they use emissary. This goes out to the junk security. You need to be proactive. Folks at the National Elections Commission, you too need to be careful with the way you handle things at that place. The decision you make today could derail the peace, or it could progress Liberia in terms of development. Let us be careful. I am fully aware that the Code of Ethics of the National Elections Commission say that none of these commissioners and even data analysts who work with the National Elections Commission should have any linkage with any political party. And yesterday, the NEC and that of the international observers, they took a very welcoming decision on yesterday. They took a very, very welcoming decision on yesterday. Why do I consider that as a welcoming decision? Because that decision, that particular statement was flagged I'm looking for the document. I want to read out the statement put about the ECC. Okay, here is it. Elections Coordinating Committee, Presidential and Legislative Campaigns and Media Monitoring. They put out a statement on yesterday. ECC dismisses one of its data clerk for alliance with the coalitions of democratic change. The attentions of the ECC is drawn to a post on social media, Facebook, which has been widely circulated, linking one of the ECC short-term election clerk as a partisan of the coalition for democratic change. His action is a gross violation of the non-partisanship principle of the ECC, and as such, he has been dismissed with immediate effect. As a key requirement for observers and short-term staff are to remain neutral at all times. The ECC vetted all clerks for the 2023 general elections by conducting background checks. The ECC was unable to link Doe Ara Sherman. Doe Ara Sherman was the one who was dismissed on yesterday. Why was he dismissed? He was dismissed because the people did an investigation that uncovered that he belonged to the ruling coalitions of democratic change. There were multiple evidences. So let me continue. To a political party or candidate at the time of vetting. While the ECC is working internally to fix the issue, the public is hereby informed that those chairmen and all other clerks do not have access to the ECC accumulated data center. It is also important to note that the affiliations of Doe Ara Sherman does not in any way undermine the ECC independence as an election observation group. The ECC therefore extends its regret to our international partners and sponsor for any embarrassment this may have caused. The ECC will continue to remain neutral and independent. So that was a statement put out by the ECC on yesterday, in which it dismays Joe Sherman for his involvement, for his alignment with the Coalition for Democratic Change. So that particular decision taken by the ECC on yesterday was really, really welcoming. So, folks, this is how I would love to call this broadcast a day, because I've just been informed by my colleague who have almost all of the necessary information in his possession, who should be reading results from the National Elections Commission, but he got a call to respond to something important. So we will be back here on tomorrow, at which time we will bring you the full developments as a full. So many thanks. My name is K. Lindo Toba. Many thanks to all of you who have been there watching along with us. Thank you.